Good day, it's Carl from Studio Incar. Behind me is Shane's 488 GTB. What a car. We do multiple levels for Ferrari installation. Ferrari installation is a little bit different than most normal cars, or I suppose most supercar installation is different to most normal cars. They take a certain mindset to get them apart properly. They need twice the amount of space and 2 or 3 times the amount of time. So yeah, Shane has chosen to go through our stages. So he's gone for stage 1 first, which is the front speakers and an active subwoofer box. Just the front speakers alone on a factory system with a factory amp and head unit or whatever isn't going to yield that much of a return, especially considering the cost. There's a lot of cost involved in a nice set of front speakers, installation, a bit of sound deadening. We don't like to charge that amount of money and not get too much of a result, but what it does do is it gives the system a great backbone for future upgrades. We add the new Hertz DBA 201F in this, which looks like a sort of under seat woofer. It's a shallow mount woofer, I'll show you that now. I'm not too hot on under seat subwoofers. I don't believe any of them really work that well, but this one, we gave this one a try because it's got, it's got good reviews. It's people like the way that it sounds, and it's a meaty, hefty thing. When you consider the cabin in these cars, and most Ferraris, the cabin's quite small, so we don't need a huge amount of cone area to sort of energize that small cabin space, and this works fantastically in here. In fact, there's way too much. We've had to dial it back. So headroom, remember, we always want headroom. We don't want to be pushing, we want to be pulling, really. Front speakers are the Morel Hybrid 62s, 62A in this configuration, because the factory head unit runs its own speakers actively. We've replaced the mid-bass in the doors, the tweeters in the doors, we've left the mid-ranges in the dashboard. If you know anything about 488s and 458s, the removal of the dashboard is a sort of 8-hour long job. We've intentionally left that part because as we move up the systems, we can remove those mid-range drivers, we can add DSP amplification, we can start to tune the sort of front speakers and things like that. But yeah, our stage 1 gives him a lovely set of front speakers, some sound deadening in the doors, and an active subwoofer box. Everything else is factory, everything looks factory, there's no sort of interference with the car. You can see the sub box behind the passenger seat there, but it's a real shallow profile. It doesn't interrupt anything that goes in it, and you can still put coats and stuff behind there. So let's take a quick look. Not tons to see, as there is with our sort of neat factory installation, but we can at least see the sub box and see the inside of this lovely GTB. So it's a rare one, this. It's Shane's a local guy. We don't do many local jobs. Most of our jobs are national and some international ones, but look at this thing. I do understand why some people have different coloured Ferraris, but you just can't beat a red Ferrari, can you? So all of these have been off, bit of a job, but they're all done. He's got the Morel tweeters in the factory location there, and the Morel mid-bass on printed baffles that we designed for the 488. Nothing came out really on the dash top. The under dash has come out because it's where the factory amplifier and stuff is. And then if I can just show you, so from a sort of cabin perspective, this is what you will see of that sub box, and you just can't really see it at all. As we get closer, you should just start to pick it up there, just behind that passenger seat, if the camera can get a focus. If we go round to the passenger side, get this seat forward for you. You can see the DBA 201F. It's a little fella, but it hits. hits really well, to be fair. I'm really glad we tried it. So sonically, what do we get for this upgrade? We get bass if you want it for days, all right? So there's plenty of bass from that subwoofer in this cabin. You can have loads of it if you're that way inclined, or you can dial it back just to reinforce the mid basses, which is what we tend to do. Our subs are quite delicate. We can make them pound if we want, but you know, we play them quite delicate. We try to integrate them as well as we can. We've reversed the phase in this one because it's one of the only tuning steps we have really, because it's so close to you and the distance between the front speakers and stuff like that. Yeah, it just works out better in the driving position. Better bass, more impact, psychoacoustically more volume. When you've got a subwoofer in a car, even if you've kept the factory stereo, you tend to feel like the system is louder, all right? You get more response from lower volume, so it gives you that feeling of higher volume. Technically, there's no higher volume at all right? The front speakers have given you sort of more clarity, again, more impact. The deadening of the doors has helped that energy from those drivers. The high frequency response is, remembering we're still playing from the factory radio, okay, with the factory amplification, but the high frequency response has kind of been unlocked by that tweeter, you know? It can now play everything that it gets, all right? It might not be the best input signal, but it's gonna play everything that it can get. Whereas the original tweeter was just, it almost sounded like it didn't need to be there. It was so sort of rolled off and dull. So yeah, mid-bass clarity, mid-range clarity, high frequency has just opened up nicely. Loads of little things that add up to a good sonic upgrade for a first step in this 488. Yeah, we're really happy with it. He's due in the next sort of 20 minutes. So yeah, I'm sure he'll be happy with it as well. If not, you'll see it again. Well, like I say, Shane's wanted to climb up the systems ladder, which is a good way of doing things, because you could get to system 1 and it would be everything you want. And if you can stop there, then you're a better man than me. But you could stop there. You could realize that value at system 1 and be done, or you can carry on to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, which of course it starts to get expensive because we get into the sort of the top 2% of sound in cars. You know, so yeah. Anyway, Ferrari guys, supercar guys, normal car guys, all right? Give us a shout. Everything's down below. Our email address is info@studioincar.co.uk. Takes us a little while to come back to you, but we will come back to you because we're just really busy with incoming comms. I'm Carl, Studio Incar. This is a Ferrari 488 GTB with a stage 1 system. It sounds great. Take it easy.